Hello everybody. So today we are going to start decorating this cookie today. So I'm actually going to be more focusing on this large cookie, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this one later on in the video. So this is my orange cardamom tea cookie, and I posted a video yesterday on how to make this if you want to watch this. But today I am going to show you how I'm going to decorate this. So I'm going to do kind of my vision for this is I'm going to have a little bunny in the middle here, and then I'm going to have a whole bunch of florals surrounding it. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to section this off so that we leave our bunny spot. Now my little setup here is I always have a little cloth, and this just helps me take off any excess off the tip. And I also really like to use tipless bags, but my supplier has run out, and they've been sold out for quite a while now. So I'm hoping that they'll come back soon because it is a little bit of a pain to use these. Okay, so firstly I'm going to section this off, and I don't want to make it too big. And don't be too concerned if it's not a perfect egg shape, because we're going to do things to cover that up. All right. I'm going to start with some purple. This is the reason why I don't like to use tips, because see, when the bag gets a little clogged, then it legit is clogged right now, so I need to undo it. And that's just leaving them dry for like maybe 10 minutes. I just let that sit out a bit. Okay, hopefully it works now. So I am going to start off with just some really simple flowers here. And you'll notice I am using pipe and flood consistency, so it is very runny. And I'm going to do some more all the way around. You can also do it this way, where you just squeeze and pull. Either way can work for you. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Rajan. Okay. Hi, Aaron. Nice to see you. Okay. And now I'm going to use, I'm going to do a little bit of brush technique down here too. Let's see if it works with this consistency. Sometimes it doesn't. We'll see. I'm going to take a really dry brush here. A little bit of water, but pretty dry. Just brushing it lightly. I'm going to use slightly less royal icing there. And notice with this, I'm using a brush that has really hard bristles. so. I'm actually going to take a little bit of some food coloring. One second, guys. Whenever I'm using food coloring, I like to just get a little plate as my palette. Just going to use a little bit of white food coloring here. I'm going to drag it through slightly. Give it a bit more. I'm gonna let that dry. I'm gonna do a few more here. And I really don't have a particular vision in my head right now. Just kind of going with the flow. Keep. And just don't be afraid to clean off your brush too in the middle. And of course, whenever you're using brushes, you always want to make sure that you only ever use them for food, nothing else. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the flowers kind of going up this way. Let's go for pink. I'm going to do ones that are a bit thinner. Again, this is why I'm not a fan of the non-tipless. It's getting stuck. Usually with the tipless bags, you can just squeeze them right out. I remember when I first started cookie decorating, I wasted a lot of time trying to get these bags unclogged. Oh, let's do this. Let's do it over here, actually. I'm gonna make that a little bit smaller. I've got my water here. I'm gonna get rid of that excess. And I'm gonna pull it out. Creating a fun little pattern here. Dragging it out. And I am using royal icing here for those of you that maybe don't watch a lot of my tutorials. I am using some royal icing here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow this to dry a little bit. And my little trick for making this dry really fast is I'm going to put it in the oven at 175 degrees Fahrenheit for maybe just a few minutes. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to show you guys how to to use some wet on wet technique. So I'm grabbing my cookie here, and we're going to do some just really easy scroll work. And I'm going to first pipe and flood this. Now I think I do want to have some sort of border later on, so I'm going to put this a little bit more on the edge here. Now notice I'm squeezing that piping bag, dropping down that line. Okay, and then we're going to fill it in, and I'm going to fill this in right away. Like so, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. It is ombreing like that a little bit because I just added in some white as opposed to adding in more, but no big deal. I'm just going to make it kind of a marbled effect here. And if you ever mess up that initial piping, you can always fix it at this stage and draw it out more. So we've kind of got a marble effect going on. And then I'm going to start dropping down my lines. I'm going to give it kind of a little shake here. Make sure it's nice and flat. Okay. Now I'm going to take my white. And I'm going to do little scrolls. And I did these on the other cookies that you might have seen. Now with wet on wet technique, you really need to make sure that you're using the exact same icing consistency. Or else it won't work out as well. And then using a number 2 tip. And I'm going to do this all the way around. And notice how it's just kind of sinking in. And keep in mind you are adding more icing. So you don't, if you are bringing this out to the edge, you don't want it to flow right over. Okay, and I'm going to finish up my last one here. It kind of looks like you're doing fancy E's almost. Okay, and then you can just let that dry, and then you can add on other things. So I'm going to actually lift this frosting up a little bit more. I have in my KitchenAid, I've already got some royal icing that's fairly thick. I'm going to just quickly go whip that up, and I will be right back. Nope, the royal icing is really, really easy to squeeze out. This is actually a pipe and flood consistency, which is less hard, but I am going to switch over to a more thicker piping consistency, which I will show you what that is like. And I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm gonna bring you into the kitchen here, the other kitchen, I should say. So in here, whenever I have my real icing, I make sure to cover it because you don't want that drying out. Now in here, it's pretty thick consistency. And I am gonna re-whip it. But before I re-whip it, I'm going to actually take out all of the pipe and flood consistency from my white because I'm no longer going to need that. Okay. Now I'm not looking to pipe flowers or anything with this. I just want to get it thicker so that I can pipe better details, or sorry, more defined details, I should say. And that's pretty good. So if it just kind of hangs down like that, but it doesn't completely fall off, it is good to go. No Play-Doh right now, honey, okay? Mommy's just on a live on YouTube, decorating.
What can I at least do downstairs? And Mommy, where did you put my molds?
They're probably up high, honey.
But Mommy, and you put my other wheel stationery there too. And those are yours. Those
are... Okay. I'm just gonna test out. And squeeze this out here. Sometimes I do a test along the edge just to make sure that it's the right consistency. I feel like we can go a little bit thicker with this. So when I first started cookie decorating, I got into a lot of issues where I'd just be like, oh, that's good enough, but don't. Keep going. Make sure that it's actually the right consistency. Yeah, it's a bit loose. So I'm going to add some more icing sugar. That was about a quarter cup. And I'm going to add in a little bit more meringue powder as well. About a tablespoon. Okay, let's see. I'm just gonna scrape down the edges here a little bit. Get rid of all that dryness. It's looking better. Gonna whip it just a bit more. Okay, hopefully that is good to go. Pretty thick. Let me see how that pipes before I add any more. You want it thick but not unpipeable. That's looking pretty good. Okay. Put that, cover it back up. And if I need more in a different color, I will do that. Okay, let's move back over now. Sorry for the mini earthquake here. Okay. So now that stuff that was in the oven is totally ready to go. You're gonna notice when we take it out, it's gonna be opaque. So I popped that other one in before I went to go fix up my icing as well. To store the powdered sugar, hi Laura, by the way. To store the powdered sugar, I just put it in a little canister, and that's it. Well, a pretty big one because I have a lot of icing sugar. Okay. So I am going to go back in now with that thicker icing. I'm going to, okay, I'm going to try something that I've never really done before, so this could be a little risky. I'm going to go over these spots here. And add in that dry brush effect here. That's fun. I like that. And this is really going to help tie things in a little bit more.
Mommy,
Yes, honey?
you organize.
My daughter's upset that I've organized the craft room and now she can't find anything. What are you looking for, honey?
My Play-Doh mold.
Honey, the Play-Doh molds, honey, you're going to have to wait until I'm done, okay?
Okay, I'm just wondering where they are.
Don't worry, they're still there.
But where are they exactly?
I think they're up high.
Well, I checked the pie on the shelf, so there's nothing that does not look like anything like that.
Okay, I'm going to drag this through. This is the thing too with cookie decorating. It is slower, I find, than like when I'm making cakes. There's always like something, but like with cookie decorating, it's like very slow moving. How many of you guys are making sugar cookies right now with me? Anyone? Or do you like to really watch what I'm doing and then do your own thing? I'm going to drag this through. Nope. And see, that is a very good example of having too much water. You see how it's watered down there? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and then going to scrape it off a little bit. We've all been there where we have to do that with our cookies. I got blue dye in my hand. 1 second, guys. Okay, we're gonna do this all at once here. Okay, gonna make sure that brush is much drier this time. There we go. Like I said before, guys, I don't have a particular vision. I'm just going with my gut. It is relaxing, isn't it? Now with the brush technique, you can choose to leave more of an edge up. And if you want to do that, I would say, like if you want to create more of an edge here, then you can definitely pipe a little bit thicker. I'll show you how to do that on another one. Let's show you on this pink one here. So if I wanted to create more of an edge, I'm going to pipe a little bit more. Like that. And then when I go in, I'm going to be a little bit more careful about pulling that inward. Okay, let's layer a little bit more of this white. I need to invest in more brushes. Like I have a lot of brushes, but I really feel like I only use one or two. Not one or two. I only use a handful of the brushes. Bring some of that purple back in. And then pull this in. And there are no rules to this, guys. Just do whatever you want. I'm kind of starting the petal so it's like in between the two edges of the petal, so see where those petals meet. Then I'm going to do another one there. This just creates that nice kind of layered look. But again, there are no rules to this. been watching My Little Bakery, I think that's what the channel is called. And it's just so cool, like all the stuff that she, like her techniques with doing flowers on cookies. If you haven't seen her channel, really go check it out if you're interested in flowers on cookies. I'm gonna try out one of her techniques in a future video. She uses the airbrush, and then she like uses, I think it's either water or vodka, where she brushes it in through the flower, and it's very perfect. Like I'm super happy that she chose to share that with us on a free tutorial. I would love to go take a cookie or a cake class though. I haven't been to one in so long. And I'd love to go to one. I really love Timbo. If you guys have ever seen Cakes by Timbo. Amazing artist. Like truly an artist. It's his food realism that I just can't. I've attempted to try some of those techniques and I can do some of them, but like some of them I just don't understand. So I hope one day he comes to Vancouver again, or we can go see him. I'm actually really loving this kind of pastel-y spring look. Let's go ahead and add some more flowers here. I'm thinking now as I'm looking at this, and this happens all the time to me, but as I'm looking at this, I really want to kind of block in this area with flowers, all of these brushed little flowers, and then we're going to go ahead and add in our bunny and stuff later on. And I might do that in an actual video so that you're not sitting here for hours on end. I've been feeling so well rested, being on spring break. Just really like a needed rest. It's very challenging teaching through these times. My students are absolutely wonderful. Has nothing to do with that. It's just all about like there's a lot of protocols that need to be followed, and it can be very exhausting. I'm sure a lot of us are experiencing that if you're working right now. Oh, I am loving this. Yeah, I really just want this to be nice and packed in. This is a great technique too if you're a little bit nervous with piping. We are going to be doing some piping work in a little bit here, but it's a really great technique if you don't want to do a whole lot of piping. Just going into that water whenever you need to change colors. Thank you so much, Karina. Nice to see you guys. Sorry, I'm not being as lively with this speaking. I am just very into the zone right now. Do you guys get into those zones? I find when I'm making cakes, I'm very chatty. But for some reason with cookie decorating, I sometimes just zone in. I'm going to... So if you're finding you're not getting that brush technique, it just means that your icing is a little bit too loose. So you need to thicken it up a little bit. As you saw, I thickened mine up with obviously some meringue powder and icing sugar. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I still want to add on a few more brushstroke things over here, but I'm actually going to pipe the border. So instead of placing this back into the oven, I'm not going to do that because I don't need to since I'm going to be working on a different part of it. So I'm going to do kind of a double loop all the way around. Let's start at the top here. I'm going to see, yeah, no, I think a number 2. I do like the look of a number 1, but I find sometimes it gets clogged, so. Kind of drag it out here. Just like that. And then I'm going to take the next one and loop it like a double loop. Like that. And I'm going to do that all the way around. This icing, by the way, is infused with orange blossom water. So it really smells very fragrant. I don't measure when I'm doing these things, but you totally can. You can measure it out if you want to. So, if that happens to you, do not panic. Get your little tool, scrape it away. Make sure you get it all, especially if it's for an order or something, you really want to make sure you're careful. These are not for orders, of course, just for fun. I gotta tell you, when you're doing orders, when you're making cookies and making cakes for yourself, it's just such a nice feeling. And that creativity can really, really flow. I used to always worry about like having to add on more detail and like, would the customer like that, or would they prefer the simplicity of the picture they showed me? So it was always a little bit challenging. And as you can see here, guys, right, I already had this base iced, and we've already kind of been on here for about 40 minutes or so. So this cookie is taking quite a while. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, we can't charge that much for cookies, but think about it, right? This one cookie has almost taken 45 minutes. I did do another cookie and some things in between, but still. If you watched my Fabergé egg video, that one probably took me around the same amount of time. I actually had more of a vision with that one, so it was a bit faster. But for that cookie, I would charge $30. And this is the same size cookie. And we're gonna end off this one here. Now you could make this really luxurious and do little flowers on each one. I think I'm just gonna do a little dot to make things easy on myself. Squeeze and lift. I really enjoy these times going live with you guys. It just feels really nice to connect with my audience. I know I get really excited when I see my favorite YouTubers or cookie decorators, cake decorators going live. Who else here loves Yolanda Gap? I love her. And I think she's Canadian as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fill this in with a little bunny design, but I'm not going to do that on the live because I want you not to be sitting here for forever. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish up this cookie here. And what I'm going to do with this cookie is I'm going to create little loops all the way around. So I'm going to loop this like a teardrop. And then I'm going to swag. Teardrop swag. Sorry, for which style? I just looked up. Denise, how much for that style? Which one? Oh, this one? The large one? With that's gonna have the bunny in it? So for the big one, I think I would go somewhere in the range, it's hard to say because I haven't finished it yet, but I'm gonna suspect somewhere between $30 to $40. The reason that it would be more expensive than the Fabergé one is because we've got a lot of different colors going on, and I'm also going to put a different colored bunny in the center, and the bunny takes a little bit more effort than just piping lines like on my Fabergé egg. And for these, I never offer custom order that size because it's really hard then to implement minimums. Because I used to have a 24 cookie minimum, and of course, to have 24 of these, that would be like really a lot. And most people, when they're purchasing something like this, it's very small. Sorry, it's just one that they want. So I usually would only offer this as a stock order, which means that I put it out as a special. Ah. Hi Lily, nice to see you. Sorry guys, this is called fixing your errors. Now this is what I love about lives too, right? It's the real deal. No hiding it. Okay. I think it's really important to be able to recover from your mistakes. It's like when I was learning how to knit, my grandma would always just fix all the mistakes for me. So I never really actually learned how to recover from a mistake in knitting. She passed away when I was 17 or so I never really got that good at knitting. We also didn't speak the same language, so that made it really challenging too. I shouldn't say we didn't speak the same language. Both of us spoke very little of each other's first languages. Okay, and this is like the perfect canvas to put some sort of like 3D flowers on or somebody's name. So I am going to show you how I finished this one up in a video, and same with this one too. I am going to go ahead and add in my little bunny, and I'm going to do that on a video for you guys to show you how I finished this up completely. I also have a whole bunch of other eggs that are kind of on the go here. And I'm gonna be doing lots of different things with these as well. These ones here, they kind of have this ledge here because I'm gonna show you guys how to stand up your cookies on another cookie so that you get these really cute little standing eggs. So thanks so much for joining, guys. I really love having that kind of mid-week gathering with you all. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them now, or else I'm just going to sign off. Let me say hi to some of our friends here. Hi, Global Food Book. I love that you are always watching all of my videos. That is so sweet of you. Let's see here. Sorry, I just have a lot of people saying hi. So thanks so much for joining, guys. I will see you guys for the next one. I am still uploading daily, even though I said that I would take a break. But remember what I said, I would take a break when necessary. So I'm still trying to upload frequently, and I will see you guys in the next one tomorrow. There will be a new video, probably the one showing you how I finish up that giant egg. So I will